Welcome to episode 171 of Meeple to Meeple. You know, there's something special about the people who don't just love board games, but they manage to create a full-blown lifestyle. Shelves, stories, and probably at least one game they swear they'll get to next week. Well, today's guest is one of those wonderful human beings. She brings a voice to the hobby that is equal parts thoughtful and joyful geeky. Whether she's sharing her love of games or connecting with the community around her, she reminds us why we all fell in love with this hobby in the first place. It's not just about what's on that table, it's about the people around it. In this episode, we're going to talk about her journey, her passion, and the heart behind the content that she creates. So grab your favorite game, make a little table space, and let's dive in. Sonja, thank you for joining me. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I am amazing. I'm thrilled to have you. You and I have been trying to schedule this for months,
Yes, months.
but you're just a busy bee Woo!
Yeah, I.
Yep.
It's what
I
happens when
yeah,
you work like.
I reached out to you, I think at the end of 25.
I feel well.
Yes.
It was
It may have
December.
been it was. I had some downtime in recovery right after my hospital stay, and I think I read your blog entry about GenCon being like this magnet for the community and what it means, like it's home for you. And I was like, oh my God, that's like exactly what the message I'm trying to convey on the podcast is like, I got to have you on. Since then, for those of you who are watching, if you ever want Sonja to, hang out, just catch her at GenCon because it's nigh impossible to get her because this was months in the making.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Well, I work technically 2 jobs in addition to making content. Like one of them
Wow.
is like a full-time dispatch job, which used to not be my full-time job. My part-time job at the game store used to be my full-time job, and they flipped.
So your life was not only geeky but hectic.
Hectic. Yeah.
And the fact that it took so long to get you to schedule this episode is a true testament to your busyness, your dedication to your geeky and hectic life. So thank you for
Yeah, of
joining.
course. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad we got it to work out.
Yeah. So let me start with the first question that I pretty much ask everyone. Do you remember what was the first board game you played as a child?
Like, I don't want to say Candyland. I
But
feel
but that would be okay.
like I feel like it was probably that. Though my dad was like super into gaming.
Yeah.
He recently gave me the original like copy of the Dark Tower board game.
Whoa.
Yeah. So like
That's
I have
cool.
that in our game room right now. I don't even know if it works. I haven't even tried, but I'm just like, wow. Still like in the original box and everything. But like we played a lot of dominoes and like Sorry and Trouble and Uno. The standards.
Yep. The standard classics of Milton Bradley and
Yeah.
Hasbro and all those guys.
Yep.
So what about the modern hobby? I'm assuming your dad was inspiration. What was the first game that got you into the modern hobby?
Flux. It was
Really?
I was at a friend's birthday party when I was like 17, and someone that came like pulled the game out and was like, you guys have to check this out. It can hold every single person in this room. So like 15 of us sat in this like big circle playing Flux. And it came utter madness, as Flux has the tendency to
Yep.
do.
Yes. Flux can either last for like 3 minutes or it can go on for like 12 hours.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends, right? So if you can recall, so you're playing, this is like your first modern game and it's Flux and the rules are in a state of flux, hence the title.
Yeah.
What What did that feel like? Like, when you were done playing, what ran through your head?
I wanted to play it again. And I
Yeah,
also just, I love, like, when it comes to playing games for me, I just love the interaction with everyone at the table or wherever you're playing because people let their guard down and you learn a lot about who someone is, how they are at a game table.
yeah, yes.
So I really enjoyed that. It wasn't long after that that I went into like my first game store and ended up getting into other games as
Yeah,
one does.
that's that's kinda what happens. It just grabs us. I mean, that's what it does. So, take me back again to the very beginning. Give a moment, or was there a moment where you realized board games were just they were more than something that you played, but they were something that you loved, right?
So back in my early 20s, late teens, like as one does, I spent a lot of time at the game store. And at that time, because this is like early 2000s, I'm aging myself here. Game stores weren't always super friendly to like female patrons back then, but I was
Mhm.
lucky to have one where like I wasn't the only woman in the room. So that and there were people who wanted me at the table who were like,
Yeah,
"You're fun to play games with." And we're playing Squint of all games. It's one of like my early like board game memories. And one of the events at the game store was an up all night where basically it's similar to a lock in and it's 3 in the morning and we're playing Squint, and if you've never played Squint, like, the whole thing is you have cards with shapes, and you're trying to create a picture with all of the shapes on the table from what you rolled the dice from your card, and this person, they were eventually, we found out they're trying to make a fireman, and I was like, "I see the fireman part, but I don't see this other thing that they were making."
You wanna take 2 there?
and what were they making?
I don't remember. I just remember that
Don't
part of,
remember.
like, 3
You just
3
remember
in
the
the
fireman.
morning. Yeah, it's 3 in the morning, and I remember for, like, 5 minutes straight just shouting, "It's Diglett. It looks like Diglett. It's Diglett." Like, I love people really getting into games, and for me, like, that was, like, one of those moments and just connecting with people because, like I said, you really learn who someone is, what they like, and everything because they let their guard down.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you play these games, you hang out at this local game store that thankfully is welcoming to women, right? Which is not the norm,
Mhm.
as you mentioned.
Yeah.
And then you decide to start making content online. And to be honest, your content feels very authentic. Was that always your intention, or did it evolve over time? Anything like that?
It's always this is always the attention. When I like, I u started out just making content very casually during COVID, like a lot of people did,
Yeah.
just because it was something to kill time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm stuck at home, what am I gonna do? And I was getting my degree in creative writing, and it's like, I just needed something to do.
So
But
content creation was tailor-made for you.
in a sense, yeah. And so, fast forward a couple years after COVID, my niece is the one who actually suggested that we should document doing all this, like, nerdy stuff that we do by going because we go to game stores all the time, like, if we're
Yeah.
in a new city, we look them up and we go, and she's just like, "Aunt Sonia, why aren't we filming that? We should be filming this, we're hilarious," is what she said. I was like, "Yeah, okay, good." But so we decided on this random trip in April because we drove 6 hours. It was really 4 hours, but it turned into 6 hours to go to Buc-ee's for the very first time in Kentucky because they had just opened because we were stopping at places. And so we would stop and we were filming and so that was the day. She was just like, that's what we need to do. And I was like, okay, sure. And that was a roller coaster year because fast forward, because we were doing that, I had decided to make a couple videos talking about GenCon and how to survive hotel registration and event registration because people freak out and panic. And I was seeing all those videos that year for GenCon that no one was really responding to. So before hotel reg, I made these videos, tagged GenCon, and their social media manager reached out to me and was like, do you want to collab or something? Because you're really knowledgeable. And I'm like, well, I have been going to GenCon since like, I think 2003, 2004. So sure, why not?
That's so appropriate. Last week's episode, we had Ruel Gabiola on, and one of the things he talked about was saying yes to everything, right? It's how he got on camera with Geek and Sundry. Is they're like, do you want to be on the camera? He's like, just say yes. So I love it. I love that you said yes, right? That's
was one of my big takeaways last year from my friend Zazu. Is I asked him, I was like, Zazu, how do you know everyone? Do you get all these random opportunities and things that you get? And he's like, I just say yes, and I don't leave until people kick me out. So I was like, okay. I was like, next year, I want to do it the Zazu way.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Because Zaz is awesome, and
he's amazing.
Yeah. I hope to one day walk into GenCon and everyone's like, like if those of you remember the TV show Cheers, they want to go, PJ, like Norm when he walked into Cheers. That's who I want to be.
Yeah. I also want to feel that.
Yes.
I mean,
yeah.
I had it kind of last year. I had this girl see me and my niece filming content on the stairs between the escalators as she was going up. And she's like, wait, aren't you the GenCon girl?
You're the GenCon girl. Wow. That's kind of awesome. That's kind of awesome. So since we're there, let's talk about GenCon for a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
It's how I noticed you, right? Because you had blog entry about community and GenCon being home, and you've been going to GenCon for 20 years. Talk to me about your first GenCon. What was that like?
Overwhelming, even then, when it wasn't 80,000 plus people. I won't say severe anxiety because I can go out into public, but I have very bad social anxiety. Crowds make me nervous and anxious, and it's awful. But GenCon has always kind of like had spaces for anxious people to kind of disappear into, so you're not having to worry about the crowd. Like back then, I would on Saturdays sneak over to the movie theater and go watch a movie at the mall.
Okay.
Because Saturdays are the busiest day of the convention. Can't do that now. The mall is closed.
Yep.
But I was like, that first GenCon, I didn't schedule any events. And a lot of people were like, I can't believe you're not scheduling events. And I'm like, yeah. But we stayed out at the airport that year. We were carpooling with friends. I was like, I don't want to be the person that's making everyone wait around.
Right.
At 9 o'clock at night when everyone just wants to get back to the hotel and play games and relax. So
one of the pieces of advice I always give to first-time attendees of GenCon, and I still stick by this, is schedule one event per day. Because I think the problem now is people get overwhelmed and they sign up for all the events. That's part of their overwhelm. But I also believe in the need for having one event as kind of an anchor event, right? So you get up in the morning and you schedule an 8 a.m. or a 10 a.m. event that you have to go to, and then your day has started, and then you have the freedom, right? I would never say schedule everything. You want to allow for some serendipity and allow the community to flow over you, as it were, and find those spaces that are right for you.
Yeah. I'll say I personally am still a very much fly by the seat of your pants GenCon goer, which always floors people. Scheduled events for the first time 3 years ago, just so I could make a video to show how to use the event registration system.
So you've attended GenCon for 17 years, not scheduling a single event. And then you scheduled an event just so you could film a video on how to schedule an event or how they...
Yeah.
I love that.
how the process works because
Yeah,
I was like, I don't know how the wish list works. I
yeah.
don't know. Let's see together. Let's figure it out. It took my event 6 hours to process through the wish list, and that still floors me because I'm like, I pressed the button.
Right?
Shouldn't it just go?
I agree it should. So, over the past 20 years at Gen Con, how have you seen the convention change? For the better or worse, or both?
I feel like it's constantly changing for the better. They have a great team in place who are constantly trying to like redefine the convention. You know, I was very happy because I love to cosplay. The addition of the cosplay is not consent signs that they have
Yeah.
all around the center,
Yes.
because prior to that, there were times where, you know, you would get stopped, like I would get stopped in cosplay and be like, "Oh, I'm not really, you know, I'm in a hurry to get to an event," and that didn't matter to the person, or people just taking your photo without even asking, and, like, I hated that. It's like, I don't even know why you're taking the photo, at least let me pose or whatever. So, like, that I think is good, and, like, on Sunday mornings, if you're still there and not trying to rush out, they have panels where you can meet with Gen Con staff members to, like, give your own ideas and to talk about, you know, ways that Gen Con could be safer, could be better. You know, the addition of the BIPOC lounge I thought is amazing. They added the quiet room, they've added the craft room. Yeah, they're constantly adapting and changing to the needs of the people in the space, and I think that's amazing. Obviously, like everyone else, I wish there were more downtown hotel rooms connected to the convention center.
Fair
But
point.
that's not a Gen Con can solve problem.
Right.
So,
That's an Indianapolis issue.
it's Indianapolis issue.
So speaking of which, the new we were just so for those of you watching, I'm going to be at Gen Con on Sunday this year. Originally we weren't going, but my wife and I, we got the Sunday badges. We'll be there on Sunday. And so we're going to have to stay over Sunday night. And I was looking at hotels. The new Hilton Signia hotel that they're building right there
Mhm.
will have, I thought this was interesting. It's going to have a pedestrian bridge to both the convention center and Lucas Oil Stadium. I don't think there's any hotel that has a bridge connected to Lucas Oil. I
The
mean,
Crown Plaza does. No one knows
yes,
about the Sky Bridge from the Crown Plaza to the convention center that connects to the Sky Bridge.
you're right. You're absolutely right. Yep. See, I love that. That's fantastic. Proving me wrong. I love it. That's great.
Not on purpose.
It's fine.
To me, the interesting thing about that hotel
Hmm.
is the whole reason that it won the bid is because it will have enough ballroom space that not during Gen Con, because Gen Con's just
Right.
gonna take over that space. But
Right.
during other conventions, they can run 2 to 3 more conventions at the exact same time,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is wild to me that there's that much space, but we were looking at it, and some of that space is almost the size of the exhibit hall.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. That's a big space. So back to your journey and gaming.
Yeah.
Here's my question. What is a board game that just completely surprised you? Either because you expected to hate it or you expected to love it, or either way.
Ha Hadrian's Wall, which if anyone has been following mine, Curvin, and Carla's Twitch journey, you will know that we picked that game on BGA because we have a rule when we play games on Board Game Arena that at least one of the games that night we play, we do not read the rules. We pick it at random and we just start playing it because BGA tells you what to do. We did that with Hadrian's Wall. And if you're not familiar with Hadrian's Wall, it's like an Excel sheet that's basically a flippin' right,
That's a
essentially.
great that is a great description of Hadrian's Wall. Yeah.
But however, on BGA, we called it the Where's Waldo. of board games because you're just trying to find where you can click. And the first time we played it was just a whole bunch of like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know if this is good. I don't know if this is bad because we didn't even turn on live scoring. So we had no idea who was winning, if it was going. But now every week when we stream, we have to play Hadrian's Wall because it has very much become our favorite game. And we have a
Okay.
the three of us have a physical copy of the game
Yeah.
that now when we see each other in person, we hand off said physical copy of the game to the next person. And we're the sisterhood of the traveling
Hadrian's
Hadrian's
Wall.
Wall.
That's awesome. Oh my God, that's such a great story. Hadrian's Wall is a favorite in our home as well because I typically win. It's one of the few games that I have like a 90-95% win ratio. And so my wife's always like, I'm going to beat you this time. And so, yeah. And she has, I think once or twice she beat me, but still, yeah, that's a beloved game. But yeah, that is an Excel spreadsheet. And it's not just an Excel spreadsheet, it's like 400 of them because they give you enough sheets to last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's a crazy, but that's a great story. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So what I've noticed is that you've managed to build a community around your passion, right? And what's one of the most meaningful interactions or messages you've received from a follower that, sticks with you and you still remember to this day?
Oh, goodness. That's a tough one. I say, like, I usually see people at the convention, so I'm trying to think. Because it's usually always in passing, and it's usually just a quick, like, hi and all that. Actually, it was last year, and I was with Curtin, as always,
Okay.
walking around, and we were both stopped because last year we did a panel on, creating a welcoming space at GenCon, and we're doing it again this year. But we were stopped by someone who follows both of us, and, like, he was so grateful that we did this panel because he didn't like he's like, "I learned so much. There are things I didn't know that, like, happened to people in the space
Mm-hmm.
that I felt like, you know, he appreciated." Sorry, dog was sniffing at my foot. Just he appreciated the fact that, like, we took that time, and there were several people at that panel too afterwards who just pulled, like, us all aside talking about, like, I didn't know my experience was happening to other people. And I'm so glad that there are people speaking up about their experiences and how, like, positively to turn it, into something positive. One of the things, like, for me that is huge because we do film when we go to game stores. If I have a negative experience in a game store, I will not post that video at all because just because I had a bad experience doesn't mean someone else is, and I don't wanna, like, you
That's good.
know
That's fair. Yeah.
and I don't wanna, like, be that person that makes someone second guess, like, their favorite store, especially if I'm not from that area. Like, it's definitely happened more times than I can count where I walk into a store and they won't talk to me, they'll only talk to my husband, and it's frustrating to me, but, you know, as someone who works at a game store, we very much make sure everyone, whether they are an adult or a child, whoever they are, and they come in through the door, like, we're saying hi, we're welcoming because gamers come in all different, shapes and sizes. And some people don't even know they're gamers when they walk through the door.
It's true. It's true. It's interesting you bring that up. I have developed over time. This is a strategy that I utilize when we're at a game store, we're at the vendor hall, at any convention. If the vendor or the retailer or the employee, whatever, if they're talking to me when I'm with my wife, because my wife is just as much a gamer as I am, and
Hmm.
in some cases more. If they're looking at me, I ignore them with my body language. Like, I just turn and pick up a product and look at something else, right? It's one of the most frustrating things is when my wife asks a question about a game that she's interested in. By the way, if she's interested in it, that means I am too. So, right?
That's usually
So,
how that goes. Yeah.
yeah. And so she asks a question, so I expect them to look at her and answer her question because I did not ask it. So I do that. There have been a couple times where I've walked away. I tend to take it more personally when she's treated that way than she does, you know? And I wish I would stand up and say something more often, if I'm being honest. I feel like I don't do that enough.
I feel, in my opinion, like it's hard in those situations because you just don't know.
It's true.
Like in recent memory, like one of the instances, like I talk about it on the panel that happened is like the store we went into, oddly enough, the first day that we filmed when we were going to all those game stores with my niece, like we walked in, my husband was like away from me looking at something. I'm looking at the Pokemon cards and like obviously I love Pokemon. So I was ready to drop money. They had booster boxes on stuff, but they wouldn't acknowledge me. They wouldn't acknowledge my niece. So I looked at, John and I was like, we're gonna go outside and wait. They're not even trying to talk to me. And like they talked to him and like he left. And to me, like they had a tournament going on, but that wasn't a reason enough not to at least try because he wasn't there to spend money. We weren't there for him. Like 9 times out of 10, we go to these stores. It's because I say, hey, we should stop. We're in the
Yeah.
area. We should stop. We should check it out. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's
yeah.
tough, right? It's tough. But I feel like if we don't make people aware of their behavior, their
Hmm.
mannerisms, their whatever, they're contributing to a system of, in this case, sexism that,
Yeah.
we need to, but I also, and I've said this a lot on the show, I do believe in reconciliation. And so giving that person an opportunity to
Yeah.
reconcile with you. And that's why I kind of feel like I should speak up more is for that.
It's fair. Yeah.
But I don't always do that. I don't know. So, oh well. So let's talk about this geeky life
All right.
for a minute. So your handle on Instagram, this geeky life at this geeky life. What does that phrase mean to you beyond board games?
I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. I read comics. I play card games. I play video games. Like my entire life, I've been like that geeky, weird girl. So when we were discussing what we should call the channel and all this stuff, my niece is the one who was like, "Well, it's our geeky life." The channel is me, my husband, and my niece. Like at the end of the day, like, yeah, they're not always on there because they don't always want to be on there. But when she said we should do this, like my stipulation initially was, well, you two have to do stuff with me because I am awkward and anxious and I'm afraid of what people are going to think or say and how it's going to come across. So I need someone else there, which obviously eventually I got comfortable just doing it by myself.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like it's our geeky life. It's all the things that we do and that we love because it's not just board games. Because if you look at my channel and like you look through the stuff, like I don't just post board games. Like I post pack openings. I post when we take random trips. Like we just went to Detroit on a whim to go to a store called Book Off that has like it's basically Japanese half price books.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah, so just on a whim this past weekend we just decided to go and do it. But also like we love to travel. I geek out over traveling. I geek out over bands, especially like pop punk. So, like, you see a lot of that on my page because I'm a firm believer that people are geeky about things in their life. It may just not be traditionally what they consider geeky. Like, they refer to it as passionate, or passionate's the only word I can think of now. But yeah, like, I get passionate about this, and it's like, you get geeky about it. Like, it's okay. It's okay to nerd out.
See, that's what I'm talking about, is that sense of community that authentic sense of community that you portray. I love that. And I think we're better off having you in the community. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So every creator, present company included, they have that one post that they almost didn't share, right? What was yours? And what happened after you shared it?
What's the one? There's a couple. I almost didn't post the dice machine video the first time I posted a video of the dice machine at the store. Because I
Wow,
felt
it's a popular video.
is a very, very popular video. I felt like just a little weird posting about it because it's like, it's not my game store. I just work here part time. Like, it's their machine. I I feel weird posting and being like, "Well, this is where you can find it," and telling people. I'm like, are they gonna like? Because one of the owners is my, like, real life best friend. So I was just like, I don't want her to think I'm stepping on her toes by using their dice machine.
Yeah.
So I almost did not. I'm glad I did. Like, those dice machine videos are so fun. And can't think of it. Well, there's one I made about Machi Koro too,
Hmm.
with the I'm Just Ken song that I almost didn't post or make because it was around the time where I was super into Baldur's Gate 3 and I was
Okay.
ignoring all of my board games. And that song came on my playlist and I was like, man, I bet this is how my favorite board game feels right now. And I was like, and at first I was like, "Ugh, it'd be really funny if someone else was here to help me film this, of like my board game just peeking around corners and all this stuff." Like, so I almost didn't, but it was actually a lot of fun to make.
See? Yeah. Right. Back to Ruel's advice. Always say yes. And sometimes I feel like you have to say yes to yourself, to ideas that you have, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I completely understand. There are still things I say no to. There aren't many. There's still that I'm all over. I'm like, I don't know. I'm not ready. I'm not ready. I've only been doing this when this is episode 171 and I'm still not ready. Imagine that.
I I feel that every year. Every time something happens, like I get approved for a press pass, or GenCon decides they want me to come back another year as content creator. Like, every time I'm like, what, really? Are you sure, me?
Yes, you. So let's talk about game night. What is your go-to game night vibe? Like, what game are you playing and what kind of snacks are you bringing to the table?
Well, the snacks are usually decided on whatever theme the group has decided we're going with that,
Okay.
game day.
Yeah.
Because they're in the chat will be like, what are we thinking like this week? Do we feeling fall vibes? Are we feeling literally? We have entire spectrum of random vibes that we have.
Oh. Well, what if
Go-to
you
game,
what if you ignored your game group? Like, what is your vibe? What game are we playing? You have carte blanche. It's completely up to you. What game are we playing and what are the snacks we're having?
oh, well, we're playing all the party games. Like Caution Signs is one of my favorites right
Yeah,
now.
it's a good one.
I love Channel A, Flip 7,
Yeah.
Sketchy Tales is really good.
Do you have a
Played
preference of Flip 7 or Flip 7 with a Vengeance?
I have not played Flip 7 with a Vengeance yet. I have a
Okay.
copy.
It's definitely got a different vibe. Not a bad one. It's different. It's just different enough that it's worth
Yeah.
playing both. Yeah.
My husband wants to combine both of them.
So that becomes a challenge because the cards aren't the same size.
Okay. See, we were wondering if we put them in card sleeves, if it would
Hmm.
help with like the back issue.
You kind of could. But then the problem is you'd end up having 24 12s instead of 12 12s, and so the numbers wouldn't quite work, but I do. We thought
Now,
about the same thing. Yeah,
we were discussing because like it would remove the card counting ability when you're playing regular Flip 7
that's true.
and adds like a lot more randomness to the
Hmm.
game that it could
Hmm.
be interesting. But like I
Yeah,
said, we've not tried that yet. Like we have it. We want to play Vengeance. Maybe next game day we will. Been had game day for a couple months.
do it. Definitely do it.
Yeah.
It's worth it. It's worthy.
Snack
Not it.
Wives.
Yeah.
I'm bringing the chips and the dip. That's what I bring
Okay. Do
because
you
it
have a
doesn't
favorite chip
require.
dip combo?
I like a good French onion dip, like,
Yeah.
and plain potato chip. Can't go
There's
wrong with
something to be.
classic.
Yes, I was about to say there's something to be said for the classic snacks. But it's interesting. The classics, your snacks are classic, but your game choice not so much.
No,
Okay.
and like we have a big group too, which is why I'm like can't bust out the games I would want to play. Granted, most of the people don't like the games I like to play.
Okay.
Well, because I love playing Catan,
Nothing
and
wrong with that.
it's become a running joke amongst members of Board Game TikTok because we're all
Yeah.
friends on Board Game Arena. So it's always like you can guarantee if you log on Board Game Arena, you're going to see Sonja on there playing Catan at any time of the day, be it 2 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning.
There's nothing wrong with Catan.
No, there's not.
I keep referring to this episode all the time. You should check it out. I had the CEO of Catan Studios on the
Okay.
show just after GenCon. He knew Klaus Teuber and
Okay.
I had a really close relationship. He has this great memoriam where he talks about stories, between him and Klaus over the years, because he was the guy responsible for bringing Catan to the United States
Mm-hmm.
and translating it into English. And it took off. And
Yeah.
last year they celebrated Catan's 30th anniversary, where I learned that it's Catan, not Catan, because that's how Klaus pronounced it. And I'm like, oh, I've been saying it wrong all these years.
Yeah. I'm just like, say it how you want to say it.
So do you prefer the classic Catan, or is there a variant that you like?
I love Cities and Nights.
Okay.
Love Cities and Nights.
Okay.
That's like my go-to.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
As expansions go, that's a good one. That's a really good one. There's variants. There's a flood. So you get these flood tokens. And if the number shows up and the hex is touching water, you put a flood token on it. When it gets 5 flood tokens, you remove the hex and you replace it with a water hex. Yeah. Yeah. How about that?
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like
But
that.
you can build levees. I want to say it was like 2 wood and a brick, maybe, or something like that. And so
Okay.
you could build levees. And then if there were 5 flood tokens, it removes the levees, which means it takes another 5 flood
Yeah.
tokens but yeah, I love that element of destruction and manipulation of the map in some ways. Yeah, it's very cool.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
I could probably get some people to maybe sit down and try Catan with that one.
Yeah, you could, if you don't have the actual variant, you could always implement that rule and use like the blue cubes from Pandemic or something as your flood tokens, which is interesting because if you build on a hex that's interior and an exterior hex floods, that interior hex now has coastline and is that threat.
No,
Yeah.
like I really like that a lot because it really changes where you want to play and it helps remove that issue that some players get frustrated with where they get stuck on a number that they're
Mhm.
not able to do anything with. So like there's another level of strategy there.
Yes.
I like that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. There's also a castle hex. I know we're spending all this time talking about Catan. Now, y'all are just going to have to deal with it. There's a castle hex. And if you build on it, if it's a settlement, you get a development card. Draw from the top. without having to pay
Okay.
for it. If you build a city or, 2 settlements, the same rules
Mm.
apply production-wise. You get development cards. So a city gives you 2 development cards. So it's an interesting way of getting development cards without having to spend resources on it. But there's only
Yeah.
1 hex on the map. So it's, I like that risk and reward kinda.
Yeah.
It changes the flavor of the game a little bit. So, yeah.
I like that.
Yes, you should definitely check that out. I don't
I
I
will.
don't know where you find the castle, but it's probably out of print.
Yeah.
So is
I
but,
I'm
yeah,
sure I can find something on Board Game Geek.
you could easily figure that out. Absolutely. So, what is something about being a content creator in the board game space that people don't see but probably should? Is there something that you wish people were more aware of as a content creator?
How like that first year overwhelming it can be, and that it's okay to say no. Like that first year, like when I was doing like a lot of my cold emails and all this stuff, I was saying yes to every game they were sending me. And then it's like, I don't have time. Like I'm rushing to make all this content and not all of it's quality content.
Yeah.
And for me, I would much rather make quality content and get less items and products than make, not good content. And I think that's the biggest thing is like behind the scenes is a lot of people just expect like one day you just started to do it. And it's just like companies reach out and like, here you go. When
Yeah.
the reality is it's a lot of emailing. It's a lot of taking meetings at conventions, doing like Zoom meetings, and just putting yourself out there and having to talk about yourself, which if you're not good about it, like I'm not good about talking about myself, uh, it's hard. But,
It is. It can be, yes.
it's also it can end up, I feel, also being very rewarding. Gamma for me this past year was a huge example of that. I was only there for 1 day, because I went on a cruise prior to Gamma because I double booked myself. Like, I went on a music cruise, and I didn't realize, "Oh, yeah, I'm agreeing to try and do all these things at Gamma," and they're like, "Wait, I can't. I just spent all this money. Never
Yeah.
mind, but
Yep.
I'll be there this day." And I was walking around with one of my friends, and I was like, just, it was their first Gamma, and they had walked around Curvin previous days, and they're like, "Can I walk around with you on Thursday?" I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'm gonna be doing a lot of rushing around since I'm only here the 1 day." And I was like, "Just pre-warning, I am awkward and I don't, I'm introverted, so it's not gonna be pretty because I didn't schedule a single meeting. I'm just walking up."
Mhm.
Well, apparently introvert me wanted nothing to do with it because I was apparently extremely extroverted. Like,
Okay.
there were a few times where my friend Ryan was like, "I thought you knew those people, the way you were talking." And then, like, you give them your business card, and I realize you didn't know them at all. So, like, that's another side of it is, like, you have to, like, be able to get out of your shell and, like, test the boundaries because you can get stale really quick just doing the same thing over
Sure.
and over and over again.
Yep.
And I definitely think that's one of the things people don't realize too is just how much time you spend researching and trying to find things that you would be comfortable doing that would still put you slightly outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that's a fair point. That's really well. I wish more content creators would talk about that and be open without relying on platitudes. I've seen a lot of friends enter the the content creator space, get burnt out because of everything you just said. And
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
Yeah.
actually been a very big topic of conversation this year, the last 4 or 5 months between me and a few other people within the space. Like, we've just talking about, how like our friends when we started out who aren't doing it anymore
Hmm.
because they burned out, and how easy it is to burn out if you don't recognize and put things in place to help keep yourself from burning out.
That's so true. It is so true. And then there's some of us like me who have been at this for years. Nobody knows who I am.
When you walk into GenCon, if I see you, I'm going to totally give you your cheers moment.
On that Sunday. I expect
Yeah.
us to at least get in a hug on Sunday at Gen
Yeah,
Con for
absolutely.
sure. Definitely. I love that. So aside from the burnout and in that first year expectation, if someone were to come up to you and they were like, "Hey, Sonia, I'm really thinking about making content on a regular basis," and they want to become content creators, is there like a piece of advice that you have for them that has been true for you and that's really helpful?
Start like if you're going to start with something that you love, expect that there are going to be moments that you're probably going to despise it just a little bit, even though you still love it.
That's good.
Like
Yeah.
you know, and also and you don't need all of the latest high tech toys just because your buddy has all the highest tech toys. Like, you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, but
And
Tommy's got the high-tech toys. I need them, right?
yeah, you gotta start somewhere. And like, you can creatively create good lighting. Just, you know, I film I've started filming a lot more of my content outside because I hate ring lights. I hate them. Like, there's nothing wrong with them, but, like, I get distracted. Like, I actually have, like, a light thing on right now, and I'm trying not to look at it, but my eyes
Right.
want to go to it and look at it, and it's just like, I can't.
I don't know if you feel this way too. It's more challenging for folks like us who have glasses, right? Because if I don't have
Mhm.
glasses on, you can't really tell that I'm looking at, right? But you could see
Yeah.
the reflection. You see the reflection in my lenses, and I'm like, I'm trying to avoid that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But lighting kind of matters. I'm still toying with. I'm learning. I'm learning every day, you
And
know?
what matters is, like, that you like it. And it's okay to edit your videos. That's another thing that a lot of newer content creators don't realize. Edit your video until you're tired of watching your video. Like, I
Yeah.
didn't realize how often in my videos where I do this pause and you can hear, like, my breath catch when I pause
Mm.
in, like, my very early videos. So, like, I now, like, sit there and I edit and I edit and I edit until I'm just like, "I'm tired of my voice. I'm tired of this video."
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing left I can do to it.
That is so interesting that you bring that up. I noticed something after 100 plus episodes. I have a tendency to say, I love that. I love that. And I say that over and over again. And I found myself editing it out of the long form episodes. Now I try not to say it at all. Like I'm self editing live. Like, don't say it. Yep.
I think it's a
I don't
great
know why I
phrase,
say that,
but
but I
I
do.
I think it's a good phrase. It's good to let people know that, like, you genuinely like what they're saying. I try not to say
Right.
and like, but that is still gonna happen. It's happened today. I already heard it in myself. Heard
Uh,
myself say it like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, but it's okay. All that gets edited out easy, you know? Like a lot of
yeah.
the editing tools, they automate that. I could just click out, remove the pauses, remove the filler
Mhm.
words. And then every
Yeah.
once in a while I catch an and I'm like, oh, come on. Good to, you know? But no,
Yeah.
so
But
that's really great. That's really, I love that advice.
yeah, because like I said with board games, like, it was very easy that first year, especially when you're getting the games and you don't wanna be the person that says no. because
Yeah.
you want to create good
Mhm.
relationships. But then it's like,
Yeah.
what if you hate the game? Which have a strong rule on that one in our household because when we play the games, it's usually me and one other person, if not the three of us. Like, we can dislike it, but we cannot say it. We have to say something positive, even if it's
Uh-huh.
just, I liked the art design. I thought it was great for this game.
What do you say? So, okay, there's a lot of criticism going on. People criticize content creators for not being honest in their reviews, right?
Okay, so
So, how do you respond to that? Because I understand what you're saying. I get it. You don't want to be negative.
big thing for us is like at the end of like the video when we're giving our honest feedback. I'm usually the one that does not usually like really like the game we played. So I usually will be like, I personally didn't enjoy this because of XYZ. But if you like XYZ, this is probably a game for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, when they review games, they automatically think they have to just be super positive and all that stuff. And it's okay to say, I didn't like it, but you should still also be able to say, I enjoyed this aspect. Because a lot of people automatically assume that I like super easy, lightweight games. It's the assumption. However, I'm an aesthetic gamer. I don't care how crunchy the game is. If I think the artwork is cute or pretty or whatever, I'm buying said game, I'm playing said game, and chances are I will probably like said game.
Okay.
Because, like, I've
Okay.
realized I'm a lot crunchier gamer than I realized as of late. Again, because I love Hadrian's Wall.
Yeah.
And that is a game where when any one of us in, like, our small circle mention it to people outside of it, they're like, "You guys like that game?"
Yeah.
I'm
It's a
like,
good game.
"Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
lot of fun."
Absolutely. That's a
Like,
fantastic game.
have you not tried it on VGA? If you only played it in person? Like, you need to play this game. Like, it's the best game. And there are people who we've invited to like play with us on a Monday night when we're streaming usually. And when we're like, oh, we're gonna play Hadrian's Wall, and they're like, I'll sit it out. I'm not no. Just like you're lost.
Yeah. Yep. Adrian's Wall is a good game, though, guys. Come on. You know?
It is.
Yeah. It really is. So when you look ahead, right? Let's project into the future now. Whether it's your content, whether it's our community, whether it's just your own personal journey with board games, what do you hope that people feel when they come across you in person or content that you create online?
I just hope people realize I'm the same person online that I am in real life, and that you are like the fifth person to tell me how authentic my content is. I don't always feel that way about it. But again, I think a lot of content creators, have their own kind of like imposter syndrome views of the work that they do. That I hope more people still feel that, and that when they meet me, they still feel like, oh, that's the same person that I see like on my phone or however they get their content. And that they realize she's not mean. She's just awkward. Which I always make that video before a convention. You have to say hi to me because anxiety and awkwardness do not let me. Granted, I have a button now for that says, please be patient. I have anxiety that I got at a
Nice.
convention a few weeks ago that will be on every convention lanyard.
That is fantastic. That is awesome. I wish more people would come up and talk to me because I love talking to people. It's why I do a podcast. It's so I can talk to you, you know?
Well, it helps if before you leave to go to a convention, you make a video that says that. That has been super helpful for me. Because granted, it's also been really funny. There have been some people, like some friends, who like the first like convention like we were both at, where they're like, I saw you. I yelled at you, but you just kept walking and ignored me. And like they tell me this like the next day when like we see each other, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, no, you were on a mission. Like conventions, you just have to grab my backpack and be like, stop. Like I promise you that will
There
get
you
my
go.
attention very quickly.
Yep, that's true. That is so true. Will get my attention as well. But what?
Yeah, but
So, Sonja, thank you so much.
yeah.
I've so enjoyed this. Where can people find you on all the social media things?
Well, on Instagram, it is This Geeky Life _. On TikTok and YouTube, it is This Geeky Life. Believe it's This Geeky Life on Facebook as well. I don't use that one as much, so don't quote me. But I'm also This Geeky Life _ on Threads.
I love it. That's great. There I go. I love it. Right. So thank you again so much, Sonja. I really enjoyed
Yeah, thank you for having
speaking
me.
with you. Absolutely. I'm glad we were able to get this nailed down on our schedules. This was fantastic.
Yeah.
Guys, here's a question for you. So make sure you post this in the comments on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, all the things. Is what does it mean to live a geeky life for you? What does that mean? Let us know in the comments. And as always, like and subscribe to the channel. And as I always say, be kind to each other. And let's play more games.